You know what's a really good idea right now?
What?
We should watch that new Spartacus review.
Cock hardens at the thought. Hey guys, welcome to our second review, and for this time, we're going to review Spartacus Vengeance.
Yeah, the episode is called Sacramentum.
Now, this episode was a pretty badass episode, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of gore, a lot of fighting.
Oh, yeah. Big old bloody slow-mo motion scenes.
It's pretty awesome. So, basically, this episode starts off with some badass assassin-like scenes, which we haven't seen yet, so I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean, the gladiators are getting all assassin on us and giving us slow, quiet kills.
Yeah, you see them creeping out from the water, going onto the docks, sort of like 007 in the darkness. Then they start killing all of these little guards everywhere.
And then you realize that they're there to free some slaves. So, you know, they get down there and they're trying to be sneaky about it, trying to sneak on. And then the guards realize who they are, and then an awesome fight starts to occur.
And then we find out that all the slaves just so happen to be all of Agron's people. So he's the only one that can actually talk to them because they have a different language that Spartacus and all the other people don't talk.
And it leaves you thinking in the back of your mind, well, maybe does Agron have any alternative motives? Like, why did he free people, only a ship full of his people? Does he have any alternative motives? Who knows?
And then we go back to Capua, where Gannicus has gone back to see if he can get any money for the fight that he was in originally, before the thing went down. And they don't want to pay him because they're like, oh, you didn't end up killing Spartacus or anything like that. He ends up getting pity money, and in the end he goes to the middle of the little town and he sees that Glaber is making this huge speech, and turns out he has a pretty evil plan at the end of that speech.
Yeah, and he ends up making an example out of one of Ilithia's slaves by crucifying her, which is, I guess, the new thing to punish people. And he basically frames her and says that she was pro Spartacus, and they crucify her. And Ilithia when Ilithia's asked if what he's saying is true, out of fear, of course, she's going to be a little bitch and just be like, yeah, whatever you say, Glaber.
Poor slave was screaming out Dominus the whole time. Got her hands nailed into them.
Next, move on. See, we now move on to Crixus training Nevia. Nevia, as we know from last episode, is freaking out and having flashbacks. So of course she's trying to turn into a badass, and she's trying to train, and she's learning how to fight. No guy's gonna rape her again.
Dotsore comes out, and it turns out that he's completely healed now. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to train. And right as he comes out, all of the people that were freed from the ship come into their little home. And Crixus starts getting kind of like worried. He even like goes up to Spartacus and he's like, I don't know about this. They're all Agron's people. They know who they follow.
So again, it makes you think like, okay, yeah, that is true. Does Agron plan on taking over? Maybe he's going to kill the Gauls. Who knows what his motives are?
Yeah. We then see Asher fucking Lucretia.
Sometimes you gotta feel a little bad for Lucretia, like, who wants to have sex with that? But then you realize Lucretia's a bitch, and she deserves every bit of it.
She does. You can see the shame in her eyes as he gives her that red wig. You do your hair.
We move on, and then it also makes I'm personally wondering, what are Asher's motives? Like, what does he want? Like, I feel like he has enough power to kill Glaber and all his men and be free, but he's not looking for that. What does he want? Does he want political power? I'm wondering what he wants at this point.
You know that Glaber's after more power, because he ends up getting more of his army when he kills Sepia's brother, and he gains his people.
Exactly, and then he makes
also gains Sepia.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
He makes them Sepia's brother's army oath to him, so basically they're his men now. Yeah. Yep, and then we move on to, we join Gannicus again. And then he is at some bar or something, and basically Asher comes up to him and says, well, you know, you lost your ludus, so you're not really a free anymore. And then he's like, well, Glaber wants you to join his army, and if you're smart, you'll join his army. And at the same time, Asher overhears Gannicus's whore talking about how she was pro Spartacus and whatnot, and then so that makes you think, well, Asher's never up to any good. So what's gonna happen next?
Going back to Spartacus's little home, we see that all of Agron's people went hunting without Spartacus, even though Agron promised that they would all go together. So you can see that Spartacus is starting to get a little skeptical and wondering about what's going on with them. Like, are they going to try and separate from the group and do their own thing? Because Agron's getting a little bitchy. And he's giving Spartacus some attitude.
Yep, so it's like, well, what's going to happen next? Are they going to get into a fight? Are they going to just split up? Is Agron going to do his own thing? Because, Agron doesn't feel good about the goals being with them. So it's like, when does Agron reach his breaking point?
Also, Gannicus's whore, to be nice, is seen crucified in the middle of the city center.
And then Lucretia sees and comes up to Gannicus saying that basically Glaber's getting out of control and he's becoming power hungry and that he needs to be taken care of, and proposes that Gannicus take care of him.
And she tells him to take care of him after Ilithyia leaves, who's getting out of the city because Lucretia helped her fake that she's having some sort of abortion problem by putting blood all over the end of her dress. She just slit her wrist and wiped it all over there. So Ilithyia's getting out. Lucretia can't get out because Asher's finding all these little ways to keep her so he can have her as his little sex slave. It's pretty fucked up.
We translate to a more happier mood. And then we move on to, we're back at their little temple, Spartacus's little people, and they're all having a party. Everybody's getting rowdy. Wine's being thrown around, so things are gonna get crazy when you have a bunch of gladiators drunk. So they're all play fighting, just having fun and whatnot. Until we see Nevia, getting some wine for Crixus.
And just like it always happens with Nevia, something really dramatic. Turns out that Sedulus comes up to her, and I guess he found her enticing, goes up to her, and he's like, oh, we should drink wine together. Crixus looks at you like you're his, and she's like, oh, yeah, we love each other. He's like, no, me, rape, you, turn around, bend over.
But Nevia isn't having that, because Nevia is a badass now. So what does Nevia do? She grabs a sharp object and stabs him. But seeing that he's a beast, it doesn't really affect him, so he just basically bitch slaps her, and she falls to the ground, and then he's ready to kill her at that point.
And Agron sees this. He's the only one, and he goes running, and he's like, Sedulus, no, and he jumps on him, tries to pull him back, but he's such a little guy in comparison to him, he just gets thrown off. So then they both start fighting. There's this huge thing, and you just see Crixus just, watching, laughing, oh, two of the same people fighting. What dumbasses.
But then he sees Nevia's face and realizes that she was hurt and that Sedulus was the one who did it. So, of course, what does Crixus do? He has to protect his woman, defend her honor, and he starts fighting. Which, of course, what happens next? Everybody starts fighting. It's Agron's men against everybody else, and it turns out to an all-out, epic, awesome war.
Yeah, and you see Mira go against the other chick, so there's this bitch fight just going on.
First girl fight in Spartacus, and it's awesome. They are going ham on each other, basically.
Hot as a motherfucker. You also see Spartacus doing his little slow-mo moves. He does the whole walks up to some guy, just headbutts him down, that quickly. Walks down the stairs, jumps, kicks someone in the face.
And you see Doctori getting back into his fighting mood. He's fighting as well, so it's awesome to see him back fighting again. And it's like, yeah, maybe we'll see more of this. But then the two prime guys, of course, they start fighting. So it's Spartacus versus Sedulus. Who will win? Sedulus has obviously got the enormity to him, but Spartacus is better trained, so they start fighting, Sedulus is about to kill Agron. Spartacus jumps in and they start fighting. They're going out after each other.
And then you see the money shot. Spartacus just angles it just right to get his sword just to go up completely Sedulus's face. Slices the whole thing off.
Defaced. The most awesome thing I've seen thus far.
You see the brain just
favorite part. It was ridiculously awesome.
It just,
And then you wonder what happens next. All of Agron's people, they're just quiet. And then Spartacus gives his little speech about how they should stop fighting. And then Agron's people agree, and they basically swear an oath to Spartacus. And basically, that's basically how
they all get united. And they're finally all agreeing to go under one order and be a whole group.
He's finally getting his army together.
Continuing the good news, you see that Sepia decides to get a little frisky.
Finally. She's finally found the person she wants. And, of course, she doesn't like Alethea, so of course she's going to go after her man.
Glauba.
She walks in, derobes, naked, and they fuck. They fuck. But then they are interrupted to find out that something has happened, and they travel to an open field where Romans are slain, dead.
Just chopped off legs, arms.
And you realize that it was Alethea's caravan, and Clever slowly opens it up, and what do you find? You find her bodyguard dead and Alethea missing. And then it's said that Gannicus has kidnapped Alethea. What's his plans?
All you see is his ludus stabbed into one of Asher's men. And then it's obvious what path he's chosen. And that's how it wraps up the whole episode.
What's gonna happen next? Who knows? Some shit's about to go down. It's coming towards the season finale. Epic shit's about to happen, and I'm ready to see some more gory fights. Hopefully some more girl fights, some more defacing.
More blood.
More boy-on-boy kissing. I love it.
Oh, I love them. They're so
They
cute.
are the cutest couple.
Agron and that little dude. So cute.
That's pretty much it, guys. No, that wraps up our review. And if you want us to review any other shows, just let us know, and
we'll do it. Gladly.
Yeah.
So if you want, leave any comments down below, questions, anything you want to say, just shout it out.
And also check out our other review of Ringer if you happen to watch Ringer. And there'll be other shows that we will be reviewing, so check us out.
See you then.